Congressman Biggs, this Title 42, your beloved state of Arizona is on the. It's already it's being invaded right now. We know that there's more people coming across the border. They just put the number up for March, biggest in history. More people coming across than landed on D-Day in 1944 in Normandy. Over 158,000 people. I think it's 170,000 this month. But Title 42 is coming off. What can you do at the federal level as a congressman, where you are today, to help fight this with this debacle of 42 coming off with no plan? And then what could you do for your beloved state, really at the state level?
We're frozen here, so I can go ahead.
Go ahead, sir.
You ready? Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so
Got
at the federal level, what we've been doing is we're fighting the Democrats. We've exposed them every way we can. We got Mayorkas to come in. He wasn't very candid with us. He didn't tell the truth. We have to keep pushing that narrative, get it out there. The values of the Democrats is on this issue totally anti-American. So we have to force that hand. We have to, quite frankly, use these must-pass bills, whether it's budget or anything else. And it's what the Senate's doing right now. They're saying, we're not going to give you that COVID relief bill, which is unnecessary anyway. But we're not going to give that to you unless you do something about Title 42. So that's one thing. Just use every leverage point. If I was governor of the state of Arizona, that I would declare an emergency. I would bring the legislature back in special session. I would put money and funds and resources. I'd get my militia down there, which is the National Guard. They'd be on the border. We'd be standing there telling people, go home, go away. If they persisted, we'd arrest them. We'd find ways to arrest them for trespass or other issues. We would do what Greg Abbott said he's going to do. He's going to put them in buses and bus them up to Washington, D.C. And I'd make sure my county sheriffs on those border counties and other counties in Arizona that are trying to enforce the law, make sure they have the resources they need, everything from drones to helicopters to personnel to radios, and make sure that the DAs in those counties have what they need to prosecute people who are coming in. It's an all-hands-on-deck type of thing, Steve, because we're talking of those folks. In the first 2 weeks in March, because of Title 42, we were able to send half of the people back. But without Title 42, everybody that's coming over practically, with very few exceptions, is going to be admitted in this country, released. We're going to lose track of them. And the estimates right now is it's going to be almost 500,000 a month. And that's a huge number coming in. And we got to stand up and fight that at the state and federal level.
Congressman Biggs, I mean, you're one of the leaders in the Freedom Caucus. You're one of the leaders of the Trump movement, MAGA. You're very highly regarded in Congress. You just laid out a series of kind of blocking moves about finances and that in Washington, but then actual practical action items you can do at the state level. Can you, as a congressman, and can the congressional delegation actually sit with Ducey, sit with Brnovich, sit with people and say, hey, if this happens, you're not going to have an Arizona. I mean, this is a crisis. This is an invasion. And it's happening now. If 42, and it looks like they're not going to back off it, if 42's taken away starting May 23rd, and even before that, because right now the Border Patrol is not enough people, you're going to have an invasion that's going to destroy the state of Arizona. So can the congressional delegation the punch list you gave us right there about the state, hey, if people were doing that, I think the citizens would feel so much relief. So what can you do as a congressman to take leadership here and help and assist the Republicans at the state level actually take action?
Well, you're right. We've got to keep pushing with our state leaders, whether it's the Senate President, House Speaker, the governor, the Attorney General, all of them. We need to keep pushing on them. And then we also have to provide the encouragement for our county leaders. I'm talking whether it's in Arizona, it's Cochise, Pinal, it's Yuma County, Santa Cruz County. We need to get their sheriffs, their elected officials also on the same page and unifiedly take this to the governor, because these are things I think the governor can do. And we're trying to encourage our state to take these actions. If they take the actions, Steve, I think it forces the cartel to try to find someplace else to enter. And with Texas taking their action, and there's just a small boot in New Mexico, and then hopefully everybody else is going to go to California and work their way up to Nancy Pelosi's estate, palatial estate up there in Northern California.
Congressman Biggs, has anybody in the administration come forward and actually shown you a well thought through plan for what they intend to do with Title IV? I know you said Mayorkas came up, but is there any plan that you've seen that, and by the way, if I was Mark Kelly and these Democrats, I'd be scared to death because this is going to be the end of the Democratic Party, I think, in these border states. But has anybody had the respect for the American people to actually come forward and show you and show Congress, show the House an actual plan?
No, they don't have a plan. That's what even Mark Kelly has said, that don't do this because you don't have a plan. What Secretary Mayorkas is indicating publicly is that they're going to work with nations down in Central America and Mexico to get them to stop some of the flow. They're going to try to speed up, if you will, the release into the country. That's what he's talking about. He's not talking about stopping them from coming into the country. He's talking about processing their asylum claims as quickly as possible. And what that means is they're going to release them into the country. That's what they're talking about. It's an anti-American plan, and it's a pro-illegal alien plan. And that's part of the problem, and that's why we continue to push. And we've just taken it to the Democrats in our Judiciary Committee hearing, bill after bill after bill related to this issue today. And they don't get it. Their values are not yours and my values. They're not the values of American first Americans. Quite frankly, they're not the values of the independents or even the softer Democrats. People want this border secured. And these guys don't get it.
And Hispanic Americans. That's where we're going to have a sweeping victory in states like Arizona, Texas. Last question. You know the law pretty well. You know the Constitution very well. Do you believe, as we preach on this show, that this will be the first article of impeachment of Joe Biden, the initiation, exacerbation of an invasion of the United States, sir?
Well, it certainly is the one articles of impeachment that I signed on to many months ago, because this is not a new phenomena with this administration. They've been forcefully and willfully opening our borders. So I signed on to Bob Gibbs from Ohio as we worked on that together. And it's also, so we need to impeach Biden, but you also have to take out Kamala Harris and you have to remove Secretary Mayorkas. And that's why 8 months ago I introduced a bill to impeach Secretary Mayorkas.
Congressman Biggs, how do people follow you on social media and how do they find out more about you?
On Twitter or Truth, you can follow me at Rep. Andy Biggs, AZ.
Congressman Biggs, thank you for joining us here in the War Room.
Steve, thanks for all you do. Thank you.